What's up, guys? This is Josh from We Are Machine. This week, instead of focusing on a spotlight track, I wanted to talk about a really impressive debut album, which first caught my ear back in early October when I first received the promo, and it's just dropped yesterday. I'm talking about the Broken Land album from Hounah. The album was teased beginning in late August with the release of remixes from Dave Decay, Deadbeat, Theus Mago, and Twit One, but none of these quite prepared me for the engrossing, enveloping experience that is listening to the Broken Land album in its original form. It's been a long time since a full-length debut album has hit me this hard. How hard, you ask? Well, let's just say that comparisons to Portishead and Massive Attack are worthy and well-deserved in places throughout Broken Land. Let's break this thing down. Hounah consists of producer Daniel Nitsch, pianist Johann Blanchard, and guitarist Martin Pankow. Also, singer Lena Schmidt and LA-based rapper Afro both feature on 2 tracks each. The sound they create collectively takes in elements of down-tempo, trip-hop, ambient, jazz, and hip-hop. It's easy to forget that you're listening to a debut release given the comfort level that all players exhibit throughout this thing. By no means is it a perfect debut, and I wouldn't quite put it in the same class as Portishead's Dummy or Massive Attack's Blue Lines, but there are a lot of concepts, moments, and textures to get really, really excited about, such as on the album's second track and first single, Fairbanks. Vocalist Lena Schmidt's beautifully weathered, smoky delivery suits the ragged trip-hop drums perfectly, and the swooping loops and the thoughtful guitar touches add just enough menace to make a really strong, dark first impression. Following opening track Reflections, which feels a bit more like an intro than something fully realized. Up next is a chilling track which would have honestly felt right at home on Massive Attack's Mezzanine album, and that is The Robbery. The patience on this thing with that sneaking bass line, those cracking snare drums, that dirty descending guitar melody, and those woozy effects are truly something to behold. The Robbery clocks in at about 4 minutes, but it honestly could have been about twice as long because it just has so much smoke and swagger to it. That's not always the case on the album, though. On a track called Sorrow, which feels like Hounah's version of Portishead's heartbreaking Roads, there's such a need for a vocal, but instead we're given some forgettable keyboards, and that's a damn shame because there's the sonic space for something far greater here. The album bounces back in a big way, however, with the brooding The Secrets You Hide. On the track, Lena Schmidt turns in a star-making, commanding vocal performance in the vein of Beth Gibbons, as she provides the crooning background vocals which create this sort of soft bed for her immediate and at times almost whispered lead vocal performance. Schmidt is such a dominant presence on the album that it's easy to lose sight of the fact that she only features on 2 tracks. It'll be interesting to see how her role evolves on future Hounah releases down the road. LA-based rapper Afro brings another dimension to the Hounah project on the politically charged Revolution, and also on the playful and funky laid-back Misery, complete with game over video game sound effects. I'd love to see both Schmidt and Afro take more of a leading role in the future for Hounah, to bring out more of that emotion and also the political edge of this project, while of course continuing to be supported by thoughtfully arranged grooves and instrumentation. Speaking of instrumentation, Through the Rain is a poignant showcase for guitarist Martin Pankow. He plays on the album closer From Norton Bay as well, but Through the Rain is really his moment. His playing is so efficient and yet so emotionally impactful. It's yet another weapon in the arsenal of Hounah that just needs to be pushed further next time around. That's really my only gripe with the album. The Hounah sound is so multifaceted and the project can shift between a variety of moods. But the album seems to spotlight its members in kind of a separate way and tries to blend them together through the use of interlude tracks, Guilty State and Cash for Your Home, which is kind of a hip-hop move. This sense of separateness is the one aspect I would try to minimize the next time around. The trick is to stitch tracks together that draw the best out of each of these elements to form some kind of cohesive tapestry, with the goal being to arrive at a more fully realized band sound. Thinking a few steps ahead, so much of this material will translate into a live setting seamlessly. Perhaps adding in the element of live strings to augment tracks such as Reflections or Earthmen Reprise. The sky's the limit for what a live Hounah experience could be. So if you're in the mood for some moody, modern trip-hop, check out Broken Land, the debut album from Hounah. Out now on the Cologne, Germany-based Fienes Tier label. I'm Josh with We Are Machine, and I'll be back soon with more Spotlight tracks and albums, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks, guys.